Today marks the start of 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children. And with recent reports out there, we learn that 3 women a day will die at the hands of an intimate partner every day in South Africa. It begs the question, how do we change this? How do we save this crisis? Well, with us in studio to answer our questions this morning and to tell us about this year's campaign, Shahima McLeod is here with us. She's the director of Saartjie Baartman Centre, an organization that works and supports women and children and also survivors of abuse. Good morning. It's good to see you again.
Good morning. You too.
I want to touch on this. I mean, I'm traveling with my baby at the moment and people are warning me to keep an eye on her because people want to abduct children. It is an alarming statistic that we learn about as we start 16 days of activism. A recent study conducted as well by Gender Links, they show that 1 in 4 women in general in South Africa has suffered abuse already. Why are the numbers so high? Why is it difficult to bring it down?
Well, I have to add as well that every 17 seconds a woman is raped in this country, and 40% of men admit to having beaten a partner during their lifetime. It's absolutely shocking. So much more has to be done. We've got a violence, a society that is so enraged, and it's violence that's plaguing our country. We need to put an end to this.
How do we get those numbers down?
Lots of education and changing the learned behavior. This country, we're stuck in the patriarchy that dictates the way the women's part within the household. And we need to allow women, or afford them the opportunity to educate themselves and to assert themselves as equal partners within society.
There's a whole lot of women watching our show this morning. This is a feel-good show and we want to teach, and that's why we talk about this, and that's why we support 16 Days of Activism that's starting today. Before we touch on the how-to again, with Saartjie Baartman, I know that you have worked with almost 200,000 women, close to 179,000 women. What are you doing during this time of 16 Days of Activism with women and children?
I have to say that the 16 Days of Activism highlights gender-based violence, but it's certainly not enough. Yes, we use the time to create awareness and speak to a lot of people in the community about how to protect themselves from perpetrators or potential harm to themselves and their children. So what we're doing this year is we're running our campaign, our annual campaign called the Air Your Dirty Laundry, where we invite 400 kids to share their messages around how violence has impacted their lives. So we do this in a creative way of painting messages on T-shirts about how violence has impacted them and quite literally airing our dirty laundry for everyone to see. The added component that we've put on this year is including firefighters and the South African Police Services to highlight their role in society and to bring us back to a point where we're saying, yes, South African Police Services, they've been in the media quite a bit for some bad publicity, but we need to get back to a point where we say to kids, you can trust the South African Police Services, you can turn to firefighters to help you in your time of need.
Okay, well, it is exciting to know that organizations like you are around. Shahima, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Listen, we can all work together and do this. We are supporting 16 Days of Activism. You can too, and just keep watching the show and also join us on our social media. You don't have to be a victim. This is your Feel Good Breakfast show. Leigh-Anne has got what is on television.